Hello and welcome back to Podcast and Its Praxis. I'm David, my pronouns are he and him.
I'm Jamie, my pronouns are he and him.
I'm Rob, mine are he and him.
And I'm Alistair, my pronouns are also he and him.
Made it through that. Fuck
You almost fucked it at the end there.
Yeah, I just
Couldn't fucking resist. Here we fucking go.
yeah. Yeah, well, still made it through, you know. Clean as a whistle. Ain't nobody can touch me.
Okay, right, another week, another lot of fucking bullshit. Does America still exist? Someone tell me, I don't know.
No.
Good. Well, it never did exist, so trick
No,
question,
it's not
really.
real. So
No, correct. The long-standing opinion of this podcast will once again be proven true.
yeah,
very
they're going to
soon.
close down all the schools or some shit I was seeing today.
Yeah, well,
It's like,
yeah.
How would you tell?
Well, I mean, more children would probably live to be 18.
Yeah,
All
America
children left behind.
America to clamp down on the abstract concept of knowledge.
Yeah, it's like starved of education. The children start downloading DeepSeek, and all of a sudden you have an entire generation in prison.
Well, talk about a money-making strategy, though. You get all the kids to download DeepSeek, then you fine them all $100 million, you know, and then you've rescued the economy, and you've got a new wave of slave labour.
You put all that $100 million on the blockchain.
Buy the dip.
They should put that on American money, like buy the dip.
Well, since we're already talking about it, let's talk a little bit about the maybe not surprising term, but I am surprised at like the speed and the depth at which like America is just destroying itself at the moment. You know, like, don't get me wrong, I feel incredibly bad for like everybody, like the tons of people who are going to be like viciously injured by all of this, but it has been a sight to see.
It really does suck when your country is absolutely in the throes of either fascism or the liberal handmaidens of fascism. Of course,
Yeah, I mean,
in Britain,
it's
we wouldn't
not
know
something
anything
we would
about
know
this
about.
because it can never happen here.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we have this great parliamentary democracy.
I don't know. I reckon if Britain really put its mind to it, we could get some fucking, like, you know what I mean, college kid who looks like a stick of broccoli in a like half tucked in shirt to just fuck up all of like the government's IT systems.
Yeah.
It probably doesn't take much. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no. So, but I think one of the main destinations of the fucking, you know, the little Hitler children that now run the U.S. government is one of the like
The
bits
little
of the-
Hitler children.
Yeah, you know,
Is that like a translation error? I think we normally call them Hitler Youth.
no, like
The
this.
Cyberjugend.
No, is that they are apparently now in one of those little, you know, bits of the government that is absolutely critical, but that you never think about because you never have to. Is like, you know, it makes sense because I never really thought about it, but of course, somewhere out there,
Department of Gravity.
yeah, well, pretty much. It's like they have given some fucking genuinely like a 25-year-old direct access with like, you know, code rewriting privilege to the, you know, payment system that the American federal government uses to like disperse, give
He
or take.
is not 25.
He is. That's according to Wired. Yeah. So it genuinely seems to be the case that like they've given some actual fucking 25-year-old like code writing access to like the bit of the American government that does the actual payments of the things to the states and to the everything else, which is genuinely about 4.7 trillion US dollar a year.
Nice.
And they've just given like some fucking 25-year-old like the keys to just like fuck around and find out in that system.
cannot
without
wait.
No
oversight.
way he is 25 years old. Like, I have seen pictures of the cunt. He is 12 and started by a fire alarm.
I reckon, right, it's going to be fucking, like, the economy's going to crash when, like, you know what I mean? He suddenly spends, like, half of that, like, $5 trillion on League of Legends skins.
Imagine how fine the waifu on your Counter-Strike knife is for $5 trillion.
I mean, it smacks of like paradox map game logic. Just, you know, I'm just gonna spend like $2 billion on fucking boats just because the button's there, and come what may, devil may care.
Yeah, it's not an optimal strat when you've not really that many people to choose from to fill those 6 little slots, but like once you've done it, you're kind of fucked for a while because you won't have the political power to change them, so enjoy those malices.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just genuinely like the only thing I can keep remembering is just like when he bought Twitter and he walked in, you know, holding an actual sink, saying that let that sink in, you know, like
oh man, that was the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, literally the only thing missing from that was the words Elon Musk printed on the back of him as he did that.
Yeah. But just like, you know, and then for days afterwards, like Twitter just kept like, you know, glitching out and not working, and all of a sudden like all your posts would be gone. It's like that was stupid, but it was essentially Twitter, which is, you know, despite the fact that it is the everything app, is like a place that fundamentally doesn't fucking matter.
It wasn't the everything app at the time, though, was it? It was just Twitter.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, like
wasn't going to let you send money directly to Cat Turd. attached with a note attached that says, like, you know, shit well soon.
Use it to buy some fiber. It's like the biggest
Fiber's gay,
for
Rob.
oats.
You can't eat fiber, it's too gay.
Oh no.
Real men shit themselves to death.
Belting out show tunes while eating my porridge. It's just yeah, no, but it's genuine. Like, it's fucking madness. Like, they're letting fucking Elon Musk and his like little fucking Hitler youth like just play fucking, you know, kerplunk with the actual machinery of the actual US government. It's
yeah. Well, good luck to them. You know what I mean?
As map games go, it's Risk. Like, it's no deeper than this, and that's all they can perceive of it. They think, like, oh, we've seized all the elements of power, which is the bank, or, like, a part of the bank, or maybe, like, some of the money, maybe, and being allowed to issue 1 million notices that say, don't do that anymore, can't do that. Like,
I mean, they are
the only
also...
reason that this is effective is because everyone's going, well, they said we can't do that, so that makes it illegal, actually.
I mean, the fact that they've
Once again,
also...
the Club Penguin liberal contingent just fucking top notch.
They're also talking about, like, you know, dismantling US aid because it's, you know.
Although they've done that, so far as I know, they like, you know, or like,
okay,
I mean, it'll depend on the Democrats to turn it back on. So.
Yeah, but like at the same time, like it is very funny to just see them like dismantling US state power, like, you know, the soft power outreach program that also like influences governments worldwide. Yeah, that's rife with communists. That's why the entire world is like a communist utopia.
Yeah. That agency though, apparently opposed apartheid in South Africa. So
yeah, was therefore not allowed to exist. Yeah.
I look forward to all 6 of these little dweebs backwards walking into Langley.
Suffer not the born to live.
This is the point where we're going to find out whether or not like the CIA is, you know, is at least partially composed of like, you know, actually very scary, you know, deep state psychos, you know, the fucking cigarette smoking men who control the fate of the world, or if it's just like rubes and clowns, because like both of them is entirely
we already
possible.
know it's rubes and clowns. It's just whether or not it's rubes and clowns that think they might benefit at the other end of this. That's all.
That's
Elon Musk is betting everything on everyone at the CIA being the sniper from that drill tweet about Dracula.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Yeah, I mean, it will be fun to find out whether or not, you know, the CIA does actually have like a fucking Jason Bourne division, yay or nay. Yeah.
Imagine if it's one of those 19-year-old fucking neeks.
I mean,
suddenly becomes activated and starts doing karate in the server room.
My
it's
favorite
literally
thing,
just Matt Damon.
my favorite thing I say favorite thing, it's fucking horrifying as well, is apparently like just Trump ordering the US Army Corps of Engineers to just like open the dams in California and just like fucking just let her rip, essentially.
Immortan Joe style.
Yeah, well, the fish were too dry.
Like, apparently, like, they had to, like, water managers around California had to, like, warn, like, the US Army that, like, though, like, the rivers that are designed to, like, handle the water coming down through these dams are at, like, max capacity, and if you keep them open, like, you will create, like, an amount of flooding that is fucking terrifying.
It's good to see Donald Trump listens to the podcast and thinks that a flooded lawn is a good lawn.
I come here not to bury Jamie, but to praise him.
The thing is, man, imagine though if they just fucking, you know, opened all the dams and then like the water just disappears mysteriously and like it turns out Tom Selleck's just like fucking hoovering it all up for his fucking trees again or whatever. Was Tom Selleck, wasn't it, that when they had a drought one year he got fucking like he got taken to court because it turned out he was stealing water to like feed his fucking orchard or something? You know, something very essential like that.
Yeah. It was something along those lines. But yeah, they found like some local, like, I don't know, people who look after water supply who just said, like, quote, "In 25 years, I've never seen anything like this. I was given no explanation at all." And I'm just like, I don't even know what like the brainworm in like Trump's head was that was just like, no, we must, you know, the farmers, they yearn for moisture. Like, was it like a sort of belated thing about him needing to like do like, you know, send water down to LA because it was on fire or something?
Who knows?
Oh, quick! What do farmers like? Name me some farmers. Lars Owen.
Yeah, no, it's genuinely like wild shit. And apparently, like the Ukrainians have said, like, look, you can have like all the fucking you know, rare earth metals and all the lithium in Ukraine as long as you give us like nuclear weapons. I was like, that's.
Oh, I'm sure that won't come back to bite anyone in the arse.
No,
Yeah.
that would be great. Trump, on the other hand, in explaining that, because, you know, he's president deals, of course. The quote is incredible. "We're putting in hundreds of billions of dollars," said Donald Trump. "They have great rare earth, and I want security of the rare earth, and they are willing to do it."
He genuinely thinks it's some kind of Pokemon, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Very shiny country.
Ukraine has great Charizard. They have promised me the Charizard.
I love hearing Rob say Pokemon names. It's like watching a baby engage with, like, you know.
Well, you fucking say it then, coward. Is it supposed to be for? That's what I fucking said.
That's literally not. Play it back.
It really is. You know,
let's just do this for the rest of the hour.
I don't think we have the time.
Rob's going to read out all 9,006 Pokemon.
Rob's going to read out that exhaustive list of the fuckable Pokemon tier list from that other podcast by name.
Yeah, and once we're done with that, we'll do the victims of communism. That's podcast.
One, OpenAI.
No, they've bounced back. They've made their own diet model.
Yeah,
like
they've just.
Is that the one that speaks Chinese?
That is the one that speaks Chinese for reasons that no one could possibly speculate on.
Yeah, my favorite OpenAI bit, by the way, was like this week that they were like, "Oh yeah, no, we're gonna release like our agents, like agentic AI is it's done. It's like, you know, you won't believe how good it'll be. It'll be out soon." It's like, yeah, I wonder why you're, you know, saying that all of a sudden.
You won't believe how much Chinese this new version speaks.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, if they forgot to take out the bit that makes it speak Chinese, hopefully they didn't take out the bit that makes it Maoist as well.
Well, I mean, you might, be careful what you wish for, because apparently OpenAI has has struck a deal with the U.S. national laboratories to make sure that OpenAI and like one of its like chatbots is part of a comprehensive program in national security. According to Sam Altman, who announced the partnership at an event in Washington, D.C., the tech will be focused on reducing the risk of nuclear war and securing nuclear materials and weapons worldwide. So,
I mean,
one
these
step
fucking
closer
dorks where
to
they're like,
Skynet.
AI though, it's dangerous stuff. You know what I mean? We've got a chatbot right now that can predict words, but imagine in like 20 minutes' time if it started a nuclear war, and it's like, I would welcome that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, imagine if like AI ran amok and we all had to fight robot squids in an abandoned sewer on a hovercraft. I would vote for that if that was a fucking option. Do you know what I mean? Like, I am so tired of capitalism at this point. Like, fucking bring on the wasteland. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been
like,
playing.
Are you really telling me that living underground and trying to free people from the Matrix would somehow be worse than what we've got going on at the minute? Because frankly, I can see a fucking upside.
Yeah, but I don't want to live in the underground city. This is like a permanent techno party. I just want to sleep. Just fucking tone it down over there.
Yeah, put me back in the pod. I'm not done.
Yeah. As much gruel as you can eat.
That bit when Cypher meets Agent Smith, except it's small plates.
My brain tells me that this plate is small, but in reality, I know it doesn't even exist.
Exactly. But quite frankly, fundamentally, do I care if the fugu is real? If it tastes real, then I'm good. No, but on the other hand, I have been playing Horizon Forbidden West again. So
really, I really want to hear Lawrence Fishburne going, "What is small? How do you define small?"
What I'm saying is, by the time you need to eat a 24-course tasting menu, you won't have to. I still will, though. Sounds fucking incredible. Actually, you've convinced me, Jamie. Let's let rip.
24 grills, please, waiter.
I mean, on the other hand, I have been playing like Horizon Forbidden West again. So if it's the alternative thing, I can also fight, the robot dinosaurs now. So I'm good left. I'm right.
Yeah.
I still don't know what that game's about. I'll just assume it's a Western.
It's robot dinosaurs. Yep. You have a bow and you fight robot dinosaurs. It's pretty fun.
It's the plot of Jurassic Park 9.
Yeah, yes.
I was going to say it's Terminator meets the Land Before Time.
Yeah, so but before we go on to our delightful
that film
main
should
topic,
really have just been a photograph.
No, but before we go on to our main topic, I do want to, as a thank you from, our Hitler Stalin podcast to you, Paul Mason, thank you for your service to Mother Russia.
Oh, I'm so glad that Paul Mason is around to furnish us with this kind of bullshit.
I know. He's still the world's most irrelevant man, but this is just too funny, essentially. All of this came out as part of that, all the stories in that new, the book about Starmer that have been, in the Times for the last couple of days. Including ones where, everybody goes, nah.
Yeah.
We've put Keir on, the baby chair. He thinks he's in charge, but he's just going, brrr.
Yeah, the one by Patrick Maguire and Gabriel Pogrund?
It's that one, yeah.
The guys who are such serious journalists, they sat on this stuff for years so they could put it in their fucking book rather than reporting on... Yeah, whatever. It didn't matter what the leader of the opposition was doing between the years 2020 and 2024. So, write a book about it. Why not?
To be fair, it didn't matter much that he was texting Owen Jones either, apparently, so... Thanks for noticing all this now, Owen. Well done.
Well, this podcast is about beef, so if you want to be salty for a while longer, you can. But yeah, as part of all like
podcast
those
that is about grudges.
So, like, apart from all those stories, we also got this delightful one. It's some insane story about how Keir Starmer's personal email was, hacked by, the evil Russian Empire. This is part of it. After the intelligence services, I assume at least, told him it was hacked, and his secretary wrote the whole office that they were not supposed to email him or open attachments sent from him. Quote the Times: under any circumstances, Starmer subsequently changed his email address, which a source had said was dangerously obvious, and added two-factor authentication.
Wait, his email address is dangerously.
I assume
obvious.
I assume they mean password, but yeah, it's the password is Starmer with a 3. So where did this series of leaks, that affected the personal communication of Keir Starmer come from? Well, it arrived by way of Paul Mason and the absolutely deranged fash former head of MI6, Richard Dearlove.
Oh, fucking guy.
Oh.
I'm going to quote a bit from the article in the Times at this point. Mason, the left-wing commentator and former BBC journalist, who had a mutual friend with Richard Dearlove, also had his email compromised. At the time, Paul Mason was informally advising the Shadow Defense Secretary, the current actual Defense Secretary, on Russia and industrial policy. Mason, who was in Ukraine days before the invasion, was sending briefings to Healy.
Coincidence?
And to the former NATO Secretary General and to Keir Starmer. So this fucking clown sitting around, sharing a bedroom with all his category, it's just sending out phishing emails to Keir Starmer.
Oh.
It gets
Starmer,
better,
you
though.
have won a great prize. Click on this EXE to claim it now.
Gets better, though. This is the money paragraph. Paul Mason's account contained...
Sending Starmer visionexpress.bat so that he fucking compromises his laptop.
Do you reckon Keir Starmer gets those organisational emails where it's you have to report it as a phishing attempt, or you get yelled at in your 1-to-1?
I have.
He's too busy opening fucking dream.zip.
Paul Mason's account contained detailed correspondence from the Defense Secretary, which, though, quote, of limited intelligence value, would have provided insight to Labour's thinking on defense. The hackers chose not to publish Paul Mason's emails, but downloaded his contacts and sent fake messages with malware to other Labour figures. One was an invitation to a reception at the American Embassy. Another invited Starmer, John Healey, and Yvette Cooper to a Zoom meeting.
This is a lot of work to give a bunch of people a reason not to open a suspicious looking email with an attachment from Keir Starmer.
Hopefully this means that somewhere on some official document or record somewhere it just says Paul Mason, intelligence value low.
To be fair, to our handlers at the GRU, could have told you that for free. We actually included that in our, monthly update a while back.
From Keir Starmer, please respond. I sent you my ...
Anyway, thank you again, for your part in the global war against Keir Starmer, Paul Mason. Your efforts are appreciated.
Unnecessary. Can we talk about that poll? Can we just bring up that poll just briefly, because
for sure we can. Yeah.
Fucking poll. Reform 220 seats, Labour 160.
It's insane.
Are you winning, son?
I'm really, really mad, though, that it's still a fucking one where Ian Murray hangs on. That's one of the worst possible outcomes.
What the fuck does he... Like, what kind of sorcery does Ian Murray perform to be, like, so fucking locked into that seat? It's incredible.
Fuck knows. It's bizarre. I genuinely think he just occupies it at a level that polling can't fucking accurately cope with. So
Yeah, like,
that's the cope that I give myself. If that were true, it would make Edinburgh just a better place purely on the fact there'll be less Edinburgh.
Look, Ian Murray dies when Edinburgh dies. I mean, fucking, there's just no other way it's gonna go.
Please, all my Christmases at once. Please, just do this one thing for me. This is an ad break on Podcasting as Praxis. This advert is for the Patreon of Podcasting as Praxis. On the Patreon of Podcasting as Praxis, you will get at least 2 monthly bonus episodes of Podcasting as Praxis, where we discuss lots of topics, including new types of guy, celestial boondoggles, monetising whale shit, and, reluctantly, Scott Paul. You will also be able to join the Podcasting as Praxis Discord, a place to talk with like-minded people about lots of topics, including new types of guy, celestial boondoggles, monetising whale shit, but not Scott Paul, and also, of course, Podcasting as Praxis. If that isn't enough Podcasting as Praxis for you, the Discord also includes a bonus channel where we post the bits that don't make the final cut of the episodes. Fans of both mediocre and bad podcasting have everything to gain by subscribing to the Patreon of Podcasting as Praxis. You will also no longer get ads on episodes of Podcasting as Praxis. £5 a month will get you all of that and maybe more at patreon.com/you guessed it, Praxiscast. That's patreon.com/Praxiscast, the place where we sell Podcasting as Praxis.
Anyway, having discussed all of that, shall we discuss our main topic and, do a combination of very strange people and Guy Safari for an evening? Because I thought we were doing a break from the horrible news.
Okay.
I don't know, that poll was pretty funny.
It was very funny.
The poll was very good.
We should just dine off of that for the next hour.
I can.
No, Rob's got a treat.
Yeah, I've actually, it's courtesy of Jamie. So it's one of those crossover events.
Fuck off.
So since we're in the age of large language models and AI, and people keep things that people keep insisting are agentic AI and all that. So the type of people who are in the vanguard of thinking about that stuff and building it are also they tend to be effectively altruistic, let's say, or very rational. Very rational to the point of, lunacy. And these are the types of people, a very specific subset, slightly more murderous subset I wanted to talk about today. So if you didn't know, I didn't listen to our, delightful episode called Rocco's Modern Basilisk about, effective altruism and rationalism. Essentially, part of the tech scene in San Francisco and the Silicon Valley, like Lunatic said, is very much enchanted with the idea of rationalism. That you could just become a being of pure logic and make yourself as much into a computer as you can to have only rational decisions that are very often based in Jeremy Bentham type stuff about the action you should take is the one that does the greatest good for the greatest number of people. It's all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and then you just arbitrarily decide what benefit means in that context.
Yeah, you should kill millions of poor people today so that humanity might one day traverse the stars as gods.
Yes. Exactly. That was the Rocco's Modern Basilisk that we did in the episode of that name a bit of a while ago. So essentially, there are with regards to AI, there are 2 subsects of this. There are the AI optimists who want to sacrifice 1 billion poor people so they can create the god in the machine, and then the AI will solve climate change.
You're telling me that the people who invented Blood Boys are willing to sacrifice the poor for some nebulous future benefit.
Yes.
Crazy stuff.
Curious.
I wouldn't have expected that from them.
There's also the other type, which is that's more the Rocco's Basket people who believe that AI will be Skynet. So like if we create an AI that gets like too far out of pocket, then like by design or by chance it could just kind of decide that human beings aren't like worth the bother, and then we'll just like evaporate us.
No.
So like, and a lot of these people, like the both the positivist and the negativist ones, like the reason I want to talk about like what happens when you get way too deep into this shit is like these people are now starting to like make real policy and like, you know, like we were just talking about, like Sam Altman is going to put OpenAI into the fucking, you know, nuclear into the nuclear industry and the nuclear arms programs of the United States. So among the people, just to give you a flavor, because I did say it's about this is a Guy Zavari as well. So among the people who are like doing discourse about all this and is a firmly, you know, rationalist person as well, this is a quote from the New Yorker, Elysia Yudkowsky, a bearded guy with a fedora, a petulant demeanor, and a doom.
Christ. This is the kind of guy who got yelled at on Something Awful in 2007 for being too fucking cringe. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, now they wield state power.
Yeah. And
some people weren't hell dumped enough.
And a P-Doom score of 99%. P-Doom, if you're wondering, is probability doom, which is like what kind
how
of
likely they are to be Doctor Doom.
What is this? What are these fucking Command and Conquer ass stats?
Well, it's how they define like what is your percentage of like the chance of the AI going rogue and killing everyone.
I regret ever asking these people to define their terms because this is completely insane. These people have been doing too much ketamine and I'm just going to say it, drugs are bad. Drugs are a mistake. We need to go back to a purer time.
Raised in Chicago as an Orthodox Jew, he dropped out of school after 8th grade, taught himself calculus and atheism.
Oh my god.
While you were partying, I was studying the Dick Dawkins.
Taught himself atheism. Holy fucking shit, lad.
Is this the I am enlightened guy from that one Reddit quote that some guy made up? Fucking
with his big mug of theist tears.
Let me finish the quote. Started blogging and in the early 2000s made his way to the Bay Area. His best known works includes Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality.
I must have missed that one, I'm afraid.
A piece of fan fiction running more than 600,000 words.
Fucking hell.
Is this the fucking Fallout Equestria guy?
Oh, fucking hell. 600,000 words.
Yeah, which, by
God.
the way, is a third longer than the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy.
A third long. God.
Oh, fucking hell, man.
I can't wait for the fucking
In this
film
moment,
adaptation.
I am euphoric. Not because of any phony God's blessing, but because I am enlightened by my own fanfic.
Thank you for looking up the original quote, David. Oh my god. I'm still recovering from this fucking guy. Oh my god.
You know what the worst part is? I've heard of that before. I swear to God, I've heard that phrase. Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality is a thing I have seen like written down before today.
I have seen things. I've seen them with my eyes. Yes.
The prophecy is finally like upon us, and us fools that we are did not prepare.
I've seen things that have all been written by guys.
I've seen a guy touch the face of God.
Well, actually, so this is not actually the guy I wanted to talk about. This is just a guy I came across while reading up on the big thing.
Fuck's
But
sake.
I couldn't
How is this
not
the
mention.
appetizer?
Yeah, this is a little treat up front because I couldn't not talk about like that essentially. So the story that I really wanted to talk about is this guy, this Eliezer Yudkowsky writes a website, writes a blog, a long history, but it's a thing called Less Wrong, which is a big.
Oh,
if you're
I've fucking heard of this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is like if you're a rationalist, this like sort of very like ultra logical way of thinking, this is like the fucking something awful of rationalism. With it's
Is it though, or is it actually like the 4chan of rationalism?
well, it mainly I assume it's also like 4chan, but it's incredible. I've read some of this stuff for this episode.
Can you pay to change other people's avatars? That's the deciding factor.
Good sir, I will give you $5 to put a different fedora on that man.
But the story I want to tell is essentially the story of what happens when people like this, with this kind of brain set, and working in tech and AI specifically, go even more off the rails than this.
Even more off the rails than writing a 60,000 fucking
No.
word Harry Potter
600,000.
600,000. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean this is up to and including the point where at minimum 6 people have died as a result to the strangeness from all of this. Most of them murdered, I should say.
Did people who died of too much logic?
Well,
No, they actually they suffocated under a mountain of paper after trying to print this guy's fanfic.
well, no, more that they got like killed by accident or designed by the people who were involved in what I can only call essentially a cult called Zizianism.
Yeah, it's the new Manson family.
Yes, it's the Manson family for the AI age.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Well, my main takeaway so far is that this is deeply, deeply stupid.
Yes, well,
Yes.
we're going to spend extensive time during this episode delving into the stupidity. But the point where I want to start our tale is recently a cop got killed in the US and a landlord was almost stabbed to death. In itself, not
Wow,
things I'm
remarkable.
particularly fussed about. But this is from the Vallejo Explorer. I'll read you a little bit. So the cop just got shot, but the landlord, quote, was allegedly impaled with a sword and blinded in one eye during an attack by several young people who lived in box trucks on his property and had stopped paying him during the pandemic-era rent moratorium.
Okay.
How does this keep going? How is everything you're saying to me stupider than the last thing?
Yeah. I hope you're not going to try and make me like sympathise with the landlord here, because I won't. I don't care.
No. I'm not asking you to sympathise. I'm just merely laying out like a starting point because I was trying to find a way into this essentially. This is again from openvallejo.org, which is like a local news website of that area. They found and arrested the 2 people like who shot the cop and also stabbed the landlord, I think. But this is again a quote, the 2 suspects appear to follow a fringe, self-described vegan Sith ideology.
Excuse me.
Yeah, you heard me.
What does it
I
mean?
don't believe I did.
Well, we'll get
I feel like Jim Carrey in fucking 27 now, or whatever the fuck that fucking film was.
Well, I want to just this is by way of introduction to the vegan Sith ideology known as Zizianism. The words that this podcast allowed me to say is fucking incredible. Thank you for being Patreon subscribers at patreon.com/practicecast.
I found this story and I thought, well, presumably Rob has a birthday this year, so I'll just send him this.
So just to give you a taste of these are people who are, again, this cult is genuinely the best word for it. who are in this cult called Zizianism. Two of them, a guy and a girl. The guy, this is again from Opa Vallejo, quote, won $11,000 in an AI Alignments Awards research contest, according to the post on the Effective Altruism Forum. So these people, they're all linked into this rationalism, effective altruism movement, essentially.
So is this the first cult with an official wiki?
Well, there's definitely like the main character in this tale, about whom more later, is the cult leader is a person called Ziz, Z-I-Z, and they definitely maintain their own blog, which is no longer online for obvious reasons we're going to get into in a little bit, but it is on the Internet Archive.
Yeah,
it's mainly very long and almost inscrutable.
Guys, you'll never believe this, but heavensgate.com was available.
The other suspect, a young woman, had, quote, talk to me about being vegan and AI alignment in her Instagram bio. And after the attack on the landlord, the cops searched these box trucks that these people were living in and found, quote, used surgical equipment, more than a dozen laptops, and expensive electronics stashed inside the cargo trucks where they lived. It was very uncomfortable, one of the cops said, walking into the trucks. You kind of wanted to put a hazmat suit on before going in. It was just really creepy in the extreme.
Right, Rob, I possibly going to get ahead of myself here, right? But you've said AI alignment a couple of times and it's not making any sense to me.
No.
Does that mean aligning the AI to do what we want it to do, or aligning ourselves to do what it wants us to do?
I think what if we made a robot lander rig?
It's to make sure that the AIs align with the objectives of its designers or of its users.
Okay,
so like the AI should be like us, not we should be like the AI. Just to it's about this whole thing about like whether or not you believe the AI is a benevolent god or if it's or if it's Skynet. Like that's kind of where we need to think when they're talking about this.
Fucking picking up like a keyboard and just typing boo and then going ah.
It's fine. That actually does make some consistent sense, at least, because as we all know, Darth Sidious made sure to align a bunch of droids to his cause to bring about power. So yeah, vegan Sith, that checks out.
So, although I have to say, like this, I mean, obviously this was violence, and the people involved are either currently in court, so I have to use the word allegedly a little bit, even for the United States. But like they were. This is not the first time they got like weird with it. The first time that like the rationalist community, at least, got to know them a little bit better, was in 2019. Quote. While protesting an alumni reunion of the Center for Applied Rationality, a rationalist nonprofit based in Berkeley, the group of 5, this is the Zizians, blocked the access of their Westminster summer camp and conference center with multiple vehicles and wore robes and Guy Fawkes masks popularized by the film V for Vendetta.
It's 4chan, okay.
No, it's not 4chan. It's inter-rationalist beef taken to a slightly more murderous extent, essentially.
I said what I said.
If you were wondering how do a bunch of rationalists deal with other rationalists wearing wizard robes and V for Vendetta masks,
is it a bigger wizard?
Speaking of which, I would love someone to explain all of this to Alan Moore.
No, because they're Americans, of course they called the cops, and the cops proceeded to call in a SWAT team who arrived in a big truck, found out that nobody was carrying more than pepper spray, and, quote, according to eyewitnesses, the resulting showdown between the Zizians and the SWAT team involved the 5 people screaming at the police surrounding them.
I hate when I roll ones.
So at this point, you might be curious, where does Zizianism as a philosophy come from?
And why do I keep saying it?
It's the fucking Scrabble score is incredible on it.
The planet Ziz.
That's from Calvin and Hobbes, isn't it? Anyway, so what happens, like, Zizzianism is essentially what if you took, like I said, what if you took the Roko Basilisk, effective altruist, long-termist guys, and their dedication to, like, complete rationalism, because, like, the summer camp that these people were trying to block, the one that belongs to the Center for Applied Rationality, is, like, I had a quick look at their website, and what they're trying to do is, like they want people to, like, become so rational and logical in their decision making that essentially they become mentats. They're voluntary mentats, I think, is probably a good way to look at it.
Wow, these guys really did just look at Dune and go, "Wow, that cool future."
Yeah.
Why didn't they just call themselves like the Texas Instruments?
Men twats. That's it. There you go.
So essentially, one of the goals of this Center of Applied Rationality that the Zizzians were protesting is, the first one is to, like, educate people to become aware of the dangers of Skynet. But mainly, like I said, they think they can train the human mind to be so rational that, quote, it will be better able to solve the problems that really matter. So they call this applied rationality. And
this
it is out of
literally Dune. Literally what happens in the Dune books.
Yeah, but it's good now. It's just happening out there in California.
Yeah, like
essentially
these guys are so hyperlogical that they can logic themselves into being the Kwisatz Haderach, and the women are able to completely control every facet of their bodily functions. It's perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a match made in heaven.
Essentially, what they do in practice is a series of study courses and camps where you learn to eliminate all bias from yourself, so you can be a more rational.
Eliminate all bias.
The BBC has logged on.
Just for some context, this is a quote from the website of the Center for Applied Rationality. Compare the best and the worst that a single human could accomplish with the resources available in the year 1018 to the best and the worst that a single human could accomplish in 1918, or the best and the worst that could be accomplished in 2008. Over the coming decades, our ability to make the world a better place is going to rise meteorically, along with our ability to make disastrous mistakes. So, because we now have access to the computer...
Fucking shut up. Like, no, we invented nuclear weapons in the fucking 40s. A computer is not more dangerous than nuclear weapons.
No, you're missing the point, because, like, if you're a rationalist and if you're a long-termist, nuclear weapons already exist. They're not cool or interesting, and they won't kill humanity. Like, we did talk about this in Roko's Modern Basilisk. Like, they view nuclear risk, like nuclear war, as like a risk at several orders of magnitude lower than, like, the AI, like, wilding out, essentially.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No. Because, like, the AI wilding out is, like, systemic risk to the point that it would be species ending. Nuclear war would be very bad, but we could probably recover from it, you know.
When Skynet activates, what is it Skynet does? It's launched the nukes, isn't it? Mm.
Yeah, but like, we recover from that.
Much like with nuclear weapons, we are only one Soviet lieutenant away from complete disaster. So, you know.
Yeah, but we would survive it, you know. And I think you're being too negative.
I'll speak for yourself, Rob.
So, attending this center and some of their summer camps and other activities is this person called Ziz, who later had such like a massive falling out with them. No,
stop saying Ziz. It sounds like I'm talking to a fucking Zoomer.
They not only themselves like donned the V for Vendetta mask, but they persuaded some other people to go along with it. So at this point, I should probably introduce the main character of the cast, which is, Ziz themselves.
Zizia was a rich planet that was located within the Zizia system in Hut Space, a region of the galaxy controlled by the Hut species. The planet lay on the hyperlane called the Dead Road.
Wikipedia strikes the podcast again.
Yeah.
All roads lead back to the Wikipedia.
Anyway, Ziz is born in Alaska and later either fully transitioned or partially transitioned, or at least assumes she/her pronouns as well as the name Ziz. So as at least the stories in the San Francisco Chronicle tell it, she is linked at minimum to the, deadly assault failed, I think, in the end of the landlord, the cop, and maybe probably 4 other people, but she's not been put on trial for any of this, so I can't say, allegedly or certainly. It's a lot of evidence pointing that way, essentially.
Okay.
Quote the San Francisco Chronicle. For years, Lasota, in rambling blog posts, set forth her beliefs on topics such as machine learning, veganism, the importance of dual personalities, the natural gifts of transgender women, and luring a considerable number of followers and critics into the dark canyons of her mind. Her early posts
mixed
included...
bag, then.
Yeah. Her early posts included titles such as self-blackmail and engineering and hacking your mind.
What?
So, like I said, we'll get into the philosophy in a moment. So, like, both.
No, it's not even that. I'm still lost on the luring people into the dark canyons of her mind.
It's certainly some writing, but by all accounts,
is her
everything
mind palace shaped like a skull?
Well, from everything like I've read of this person, it is made out to be, but this is by like American newspapers and the rationalist community. So I'm allowing some leeway in all of this. Is like, this is someone who could best be described as having the personality and also the gifts and skills of an actual cult leader. Like, that's the way you should probably think about it. That's the best way of like, and the dark. It's a bit schlocky writing, but that's kind of where this, that's at least that's the allegation where this is all
okay.
going.
God, sometimes a woman just wants to have friends, and this is the reaction.
Well, what she also wanted to have, this is before all this happened, was boats. She wanted to have a rationalist fleet.
It's just seasteading with extra steps.
Yes, it is seasteading.
It is, yeah.
No.
The plan was, this is all at like very low scales actually, but basically to put a series of boats in San Francisco Bay where because they're houseboats, the rent is much lower than obviously living in San Francisco, but have like a rational community of people like seasteading there essentially, and then she would also be the landlord of all those boats at the same time.
Surely she'd be the Sea Lord.
Yeah. She was also like this center for rationality we was talking about. They definitely knew her, and they had to like sort of evict her from all their proceedings because they were like, no, you are too fucking out there even for us, which is really, saying something. Timeline wise, it's a little bit confusing, so I'm trying to keep it straight, but there might be some errors in there, for which forgive me. But about after the V for Vendetta, blockade the summer camp protest take place.
Blockade the summer camp.
Yeah. So for those actions,
laying siege to the summer camp, getting a bunch of my pikemen involved.
Everyone knows that the correct response to a blockade of a summer camp is to send 2 Jedi, actually.
I'm sure David is making some amazing deep cut Star Wars references, and I've just got a nod along to it for the rest of the episode.
So because of that protest and because of the fact that Spock got involved, obviously the 5 of them all got tossed in prison, where they had extreme difficulties finding a lawyer that they liked, because they're all very, very strange people, and also because they insisted that any lawyer they hire must be vegan, because otherwise they're not rational and therefore they couldn't interact with a group of brain geniuses. These are all like computer programmers and AI people, etc.
I mean, of course, they're computer programmers.
It got to the point where like they were represented for a while by an animal rights lawyer because that was the only vegan lawyer that they could find that they could get along with. And at some point, obviously that's the next logical step. They started actually.
What's that briefcase made of?
at some point, obviously, because that's the next logical step, one of them started acting as like in defense for themselves, started defending pro se.
Oh, I mean, that is always so good when someone does that.
It got so good that this is during COVID. This is from the San Francisco Chronicle. The defendant defending themselves complained that a judge violated her right to protect herself from COVID after she showed up to a Zoom meeting hearing in a hazmat suit and a gas mask, and the judge asked her to show her face.
Wait, so was this lady the trans woman?
Yeah. She wearing a full gas mask for a Zoom meeting.
From what I've learned about trans women over the last few years, fair enough.
So, getting at least released on bail, Ziz hits on the next best idea of like then defending, herself in court to probably disastrous effect. The next best idea, of course, being to fake their own death.
Yes.
This is by going out on their own boat. I think this is the boat that was part of the rationalist fleet, which in this case is called the Black
Literally Krusty the Clowned it.
Yes. The boat, if you're at all curious, is called the Black Signet. Or Black Swan.
That's the
if you're
least
not
weird
familiar.
thing I've heard so far.
Well, they're called Black Swan because Black Swan event in the economy and so on and so forth. This is all incredibly...
fuck off.
So she went out on a boat with, I think, her sister and some friends, pretended to fall overboard, and then only to be found 5 months later...
Oh, I fell over.
Oh, I fell over again.
This is the worst shit. Fuck off with this, Rob.
But she was legally declared dead for a while, and somebody even put like a obituary notice in the local Alaska paper. Yeah. Well, that's because 5 months later she was found by another series of cops kicking down the door in a hotel room in Pennsylvania on the trail of a different but ultimately probably related murder. Quote again, the San Francisco Chronicle. Inside room 111, the troopers did not locate a pistol, but found something else. Ziz. She lay unmoving on the bathroom floor with her eyes closed. She was alive, but now playing dead. She just went possum.
They won't suspect a thing.
SWAT team's vision famously only detects motion.
Well, they're looking for a corpse, so by God, I'll let them find one.
I can't believe that plan didn't work. That's so good.
Anyway, there's a whole bunch more things that happen that I tried to cram in, but it's too complicated of a tale to tell because it essentially involves Ziz gathering a cult of very vulnerable, very impressionable young trans women to herself and indoctrinating them into this philosophy of Zizianism, the result of which is that many of them end up either committing murders, trying to commit murders, or committing really horrible acts of violence. So the end result of all this essentially is that Ziz is currently on the run from courts in California and Pennsylvania, and nobody knows where she is right now. She's probably still posting somewhere, though. Anyway, so at this point...
Follow the posts.
You definitely want to... At this point, I'm sure you're all eager to learn what is Zizianism. What are the core concepts?
At last.
So it has a few core concepts that are sort of explained on the blog that I've read or tried to read of another rationalist dipshit who's trying to keep people involved in this movement away from Ziz and Zizianism. So I'm going off their explanation. So I beg of you, bear with me if I don't.
I hate it when there's factionalism in my cult.
So, like, I bear with me, and I'm sure that, if any fucking rationalists are listening to this, like, get a fucking hobby, like a real one, but,
Yeah, paint a Warhammer, you fucking nerds.
just be like the rest of us, just lose your soul to Factorio. It's just, get divorced. Anyway, so
you hear that? Rob says get divorced.
So the first concept in Zizianism is you should never, and I mean never, surrender in anything at any time. Surrendering is bad.
Oh, famously something that
down,
only ends well.
Double doom.
Which, in the context of like playing possum when the cops kick down your door, it's like.
Yeah, that is refusing to surrender to like fucking objective reality.
I'm gonna choose to believe that she, like, as the cops were battering the door in, turned the tap on and kind of just threw some water on herself, so she looked like the correct kind of corpse for a death at sea.
So this never surrendering to anything is sort of is an extrapolation of a rationalist theory called functional decision theory, which the website that I mentioned before, run by the Fedora guy, called Less Wrong, they describe functional decision theory as such, quote, functional decisions theory, see also causal, evidential, timeless, updateless, and anthropic decision theories.
Oh my god!
Glad we cleared all that up.
Oh, no, you think you were done. Recommends taking cooperative, non-greedy actions in twin prisoner dilemmas, Newcomian problems, Parfit's hitchhiker-like games, and counterfactual muggings, but critically not, smoking lesions situations.
All of these people need to be counterfactually mugged.
But not if they have smoking lesions. Leave them alone.
What the fuck?
This is all Bentham, right? This is all like rationalist theory, and it's also
what is Bentham. Bentham sounds like something they used to put in petrol, Rob. He's off his tits in Bentham.
Yeah, if you nip into the shop, get me 20 Benthams.
No, Bentham is Jeremy Bentham. It's the most rational thing for any person to do is if you don't know what like the morally right thing is to do the thing that has the best outcomes for the greatest number of people. That's rationalism. That's very baseline. Like it has since been extrapolated into.
If I had to choose between several options, I'd simply pick the best one.
But
right, okay.
But this is like baseline stuff. If we get into the weeds of this, I don't know anymore, and B, like, we will be here forever. Especially like if you want to start reading lesswrong.com and figure it out, do it, but don't ever darken my fucking door. Like,
yeah, right. I don't want to hear any more about Jeremy Spock Bentham again. Then fuck.
So like. This functional decision theory about never surrendering is part of rationalism, but it gets further like heightened and extrapolated into something even bigger by Ziz and the Zizians. They don't think it is ever valid to surrender.
The worst jazz band this side of the Outer Rim.
They don't think it is ever valid to surrender in any situation at any time for any reason. So why is that? Because if someone is trying to... This is rationalist word mumbo-jumbo, so imagine how much pain I went through reading for this fucking episode. The reasoning goes that if someone is trying to extract a surrender from you, giving...
Mm-hmm. Like it's fucking operation. They've got the tweezers out trying to get your surrender ball.
I mean, I'm rapidly coming around on bullying being good, actually.
To give in is to choose a strategy that will then get coerced into surrender.
Oh, fucking...
What?
If
it's
someone...
just saying you give up with extra steps.
Yes, exactly. But they call it, instead of making the decision to give up, they call it choosing a strategy. It's all the verbiage of this thing is like shitty. So like basically, on the other hand, and this is Zizianism, if you keep fighting past the point of it being entirely pointless, but like, you just keep fucking plugging away at it, essentially your opponent will give up because it's too costly for them and too much of a pain in the ass to like keep trying to make you surrender.
So, Rob, you're telling me that this group of people who basically forged themselves in the fires of posting in the 2000s, their advice in the face of adversity is to post through it.
Yes, in the specific case of Zizianism, not rationalism, and they take this to its like natural endpoint, which is, and this is theory on my part, is where we started is that cop getting shot because they were trying to like arrest two of these Zizians, and because they would never surrender.
The logical conclusion was to take the gun.
Yes. But entirely unironically.
The moral imperative to reach for the officer's service.
Essentially, yes, because in the logic of Zizianism, then you don't surrender.
Just a bunch of extra arms coming out like General Grievous, so you can take all the cops with different guns at once.
Oh my god.
Demanding their badge number so you can add it to your collection. Oh fucking hell!
So that's the first. That's the first gold set of Zizianism, which is don't surrender. Oh yeah, a few more together. The second one, which may be my favorite, I'm gonna. This is the one I tried the most to like sort of grasp. I'll probably fuck it up, but I'm gonna try to make this work for you. The second big concept of Zizianism is literally that there are two wolves inside you.
Oh, this is fucking amazing. Can I join?
Well, wait for me to explain it to you and then see if you still want to join at the end of it. But basically, it's not so much two wolves. It's like the brain has two hemispheres, which are two distinct, separate people, and they fucking despise each other.
Okay. I can see what
I think you'll find my whole brain is very united in hating all of itself, actually. Theory destroyed.
Well, that may put you, David, in a rare category we'll get to in a moment. But
fuck off.
So each person in Zizianism has, and also in, actual physical real space, has a left and a right brain hemisphere. Each of which, and this is where we get into the Zizianism, has their own core. Most of us, including everybody in this podcast, I assume, except maybe David, have what Zizianism calls non-good cores. And cores is like
I would simply have the good cause.
Double plus non-good.
Because non-good cores are what they are because they don't allow like full rational decision making, and like there's only a limited number of people in the world who either by design or by accident have like broken through what they call the filter and allowed their brain to like access the pure rational reason space. The rest of us just like
oh man, like this just feels like a bunch of autistic people got hold of really powerful hallucinogens. Like, being real with you. Wow.
Well, so
is the left or the right hemisphere the non-pizza left beef of brain?
So, like, the only way that, like, most of us, except maybe David, have what Zizianism would call full agency, or like where we make very rational decisions and then also act upon them, like 100% complete decision-making powers purely in the self-interest is in very extreme situations, like if you're self-preservation or if you are protecting your kids. You know, like if you...
This sounds a lot like how transformation in Dragon Ball Z works, TBH.
This sounds like Vulcans doing biotruths.
yes. Yeah. So sometimes, and I'm sure there are specific circumstances, but I haven't gone that deep because, like, I can only read so many words before I go fully insane. This, like, the filter that 95% of all people have that make you non-good can break in people. And if it breaks, you get a good core because that means you have more control over who you are and what decisions you make. This, if you have, like, the left hemisphere of your brain is like, it has this filter removed, means you are good non-good, if that makes sense.
No,
the left
absolutely
hemisphere,
fucking not.
because then the left hemisphere is like without filters and therefore is good, but the right one has not been broken yet, so that's still non-good. So in Zizzianism, that makes you a good non-good
I would be
person.
mad at you.
I feel like I've had this exact conversation at 4 a.m. in some stranger's kitchen.
What angle was your chin at?
However, and this is in even more rare cases, and would it surprise you that Ziz calls herself as being possessed one of those, if you have a left and a right hemisphere, both of whose cores are good, which would make you like a fully rational person with fully rational decision-making powers that you would exercise at any time without restraint, that would make you a double good person. And only about like 0.25% of all people on Earth can be like that or are like that right now. And Ziz is one of them.
Citation needed.
Yeah, I would love to see the fucking, like, show you're working on this.
Well, I mean, this is
that
culture,
where I fall
right?
in then,
like,
Rob? Am I double good? Is that what you're trying to say?
I think you're probably good non-good. Unless you are fully rational, which you are a podcaster, so no.
Yeah, fair. Okay.
So, like, essentially, this is the dual hemisphere theory that, like, and you get where this is cult shit, right? Ziz says, I am one of the vanishing rare proportion of people on Earth who are double good and therefore am completely rational. But if you come with me, I can, like, teach you to break through your filters so you become like me and you become, you know,
come with me and you'll be in a world of pure rationalization.
Yes.
When you break through the filter and achieve the double good brain, do you get like 2 smaller fedoras to replace your normal fedora with?
So that's the second thing. Like in Zizzianism, there are, you know, you have 2 cores. Probably you're not a good person, you're not rational enough, but you can break through your programming essentially with the help of Ziz. Also, for reasons that I won't go into, but once again involve the rationalist philosopher Jeremy Bentham, if you are not a vegan, you are definitionally evil.
Okay, fine, all right.
Off the bat, like
Yeah,
there is no saving you. Yeah.
Okay.
But I have good news for you. You, like I said, because the 2 hemispheres of the brain are like 2 cores and therefore essentially 2 people, you can get them to meet each other on the astral plane.
This is fucking Severance. This is Severance.
Oh, I just don't talk about Severance. I haven't seen any of it yet. Okay, right. So in other words, what you're saying is these people all built themselves tulpas and are reaping the rewards.
Sort of, kind of, yeah. So what you can do, and this is like the last concept that I wanted to talk to you about in relation to Zizzianism, is you can have like the 2 halves of your brain like meet each other, and like so you can become consciously aware of the 2 wolves living inside you.
Fundamentally,
no, in the actual
plane.
not on the astral plane, in the actual physical material world. You can bring them down from the astral plane, if you will.
Oh, okay. You can craft matter with your brain. Okay.
Yes, but in order to do that, you do need to practice an extreme form of sleep deprivation on yourself.
Right. Is this how Ziz was able to die at sea, but also be found in a bathroom in Philadelphia?
I assume so, yes.
Is this a legal defence that has grown a million fucking legs?
Dying at sea while also being on a bathroom floor in Philadelphia is just the effect of sleep deprivation. If you stay awake long enough, that sort of thing happens. I think there was an X-Files about it or something.
Our cops just did that.
There's a wormhole in San Francisco Bay and it leads to a toilet in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and that toilet is in Paddy's pub.
No one knows which way the waste is supposed to flow.
No, it meets on the astral plane. There's an outflow pipe on the astral plane.
Oh.
Right, so these are the steps, and you can... Although I should, at this point, sincerely and honestly say, you should not try to do unihemispheric sleep. This is... Well, I cannot stress enough how much you should not be doing.
Content warning for this segment.
Don't try this.
So this is...
Where's the Jackass theme? Hang on.
Right, so these are the steps. This is from a rationalist blog warning people away from Zizzianism, and he's like, I will give you the secret to unihemispheric sleep so you don't follow Ziz to see if you can unlock your cause. Like, they're giving away the secrets of the cult for free. Sort of, kind of, roughly. If you, For those of you, the three of you
that already
still
puts them
along.
leagues ahead of any other large one that you can think of and won't name. So, all right, fair enough.
We've got unihemispheric sleep at home.
Right,
Isn't unihemispheric sleep something that fucking dolphins do and sharks?
So in order to achieve it, the starting position is you need to already be extremely
at first
fucking
regress
tired.
into the sea.
Step 2, develop a blowhole.
Yeah, the most rational animal to have ever existed is that fish that climbed out of the sea.
Yeah, the one that we keep trying to kick back in, you mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, so for stage 1 is you need to be not just tired, you need to be fucking exhausted, like you haven't been sleeping properly for a while.
You haven't been sleeping.
Next.
This is where I'm going to start reading. This is where I'm going to start.
Have you been getting enough sleepling, Rob?
You need. This is where I start reading from the blog. You need to be laying down or sitting up. It is important.
Does the floor count?
Yeah. Well, you have to be in a comfortable position that won't require you to move around very much.
I'm gonna combine two worlds. I'm doing dialectics on Zizzianism and floor sitting right now.
So what you want to do after that is you want to close one of your eyes and keep the other one open. And then distract it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's horses that sleep unihemispherically, I think. Oh my god. Oh, I need to know this now.
So what you need to do is distract then your one open eye with some kind, again, it's from the blog, so with some kind of engagement. Brackets, this works best if you have a partner who can help you. I assume it's like swing a watch in front of your eye, or I don't know, make funny faces or whatever the fuck.
Does falling asleep with Twitch on count? Because this is basically my nightly routine so far.
Only if you sleep with one eye open and one eye closed, and you're already shattered.
Well,
do you reckon a dolphin's ever tried going to sleep with Twitch on in the background? just watching someone play Echo the Dolphin on Twitch.
Yeah. This is where we find out this is where we find out that fucking Asmongold numbers are all fucking dolphins.
I don't know any human that could watch Asmongold, to be fair. So
no. eventually you should feel yourself begin to fall asleep on one side and one side only, because like the eyes are connected to different parts of the, it sort of crosses and then whatever, like, so that side.
Again, my blood pressure's terrible, so yeah, numbness on one side, down with that.
Yeah. Eventually you should begin to feel yourself asleep on one side, but one side only. That side will also become numb. The degree of numbness is then a good way to track how deep into the sleep that side is.
Right.
Yeah, so
okay.
so far so good.
Does this person think that like being paralyzed head to toe is just like really restful sleep or something?
As long as it's only the left or the right side of your body, because once you have achieved this state, of
the ultimate in pure rationalism is having a fucking stroke.
Well, what you're supposed to be able to do once you've had your stroke, or like put like one half of your body asleep, is you're supposed
close
to
the pits.
Is at this point you're supposed to be able to like determine which parts of your personality are associated with which side of the brain. Because if only once, if the left hemisphere is asleep, that means the right side of your body is awake. And that means if that side is like more angry or more sad or more rational, then you can work out which of your cores you are addressing.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm writing all of this down, by the way.
Yeah.
So that is essentially if you want to get into unihemispheric sleeping, and I can't stress enough how obviously, like, and again, like, as far as I understand it, and from reading a whole bunch of shit around this, the people who follow this Ziz person took this shit very seriously, and in other words, and in other, the slightly more normal world, this is called sleep deprivation. It's a classic technique for, cult shit for Guantanamo Bay. It breaks people's personalities, because that's what happens if you stay awake long enough. Like, you lose the fucking plot.
Yeah, sleep deprivation induced psychosis is the only way to know your true self.
Yes, essentially that is sort of or like you become much more like susceptible to some fucking cult leader telling you insane shit.
I know we said, like, earlier on, bullying doesn't happen enough or whatever, but like it sounds like this has all come around because of being bullied by sleep paralysis.
Well, I mean, to the followers, yes. Like there's a bit more. Like I spent some time reading some of the blogs, because you can find them on the Internet Archives, of this Ziz person, and essentially, like, what happened to her and what drove her around the bend was like the work culture and the lack of housing in the startup scene in San Francisco and Silicon Valley.
I mean,
and because like,
okay, I mean, if there's ever a good reason to start a cult, I guess.
No, but like what happened is like in her telling, and it's a grain of salt and everything, is what happened was like she came to San Francisco with the idea of working on AI and being in startups, and like, I don't know, many people want or even dream about. That obviously didn't work out. Like, that didn't work out because she couldn't find like a job. She almost got in at like Google, and they like screwed her over with like 1 million interview rounds, and like startups were like, well, we don't want, like, we'll say you work 40 hours on your contract, but in reality we do expect you to pull like 12-hour shifts. And she was just like, I will not do that, because like, fuck that noise, which is the correct attitude.
Yes.
But of course, then she couldn't like get hired anywhere or get paid anywhere. And then apparently one of the few housing opportunities that you have left to you, like if you're in this, is to live in these like cohabitation housing, which are very often like associated with or run through like people in the rationalist movement. And then if you're already like in a vulnerable place, and apparently at this time she was also transitioning, and you get into the rationalist mind space, you get into some really fucking weird shit, right? This is, I'm not saying she's a good person or like doesn't have some prison time coming. I mean, abolish all prisons, but like, if you induce people, into your cult and then get them so wound up to the point that they start shooting cops, like that,
I mean, it's a natural consequence, right?
Yeah. So, like, the thing that I want to talk about this, because apart from it being Guy Safari and it being very strange, is like this seems to be just like this is a very extreme example.
Well, let's call it what it is. Girl Safari. Like,
yeah,
come on.
Yeah. Is like you get into this, the as AI starts to like take over more of the world, and we're once again back on everything should be a fucking startup. This is also like the kind of shit that, not this specifically, this is a very weird thing in and of itself, but like the pressure cooker of like the fucking startups and coding is like not very good for you, essentially speaking.
Yeah, living in Silicon Valley may lead you to start a cult.
Yeah, or, faking your own death. Yeah.
Faking your own death, lying on the floor motionless while cops are looking for you.
Yeah. Anyway, the other much better cult that you can join is ours. We don't have.
We'll let you sleep with your whole brain.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we whisper, strange things in your ears.
Are you a medical professional? Would you like to join a Discord for some reason full with other medical professionals?
Yeah. Anyway, we don't have comment or commentary yet, so, this is genuinely the plug for our cult at patreon.com/praxiscast.
Yeah. Also, we started doing streams again. They happen on Sundays now, twitch.tv/praxiscast. It's every other Sunday, maybe, possibly, and maybe Thursdays. Who knows? Just follow and find out.
It's every Sunday, isn't it?
It should be every Sunday, unless something comes up.
Oh, there you go. It's every Sunday. See, nobody told me.
It's every Sunday unless something comes up, which is,
Yeah,
like my arms have fallen off or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Also, melter-skelter@praxiscast.tmail.com. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
The outros will get faster until morale improves.